if MELD score is below 14 every time, so do we have to go for a liver transplant?
Okay, I mean, it's a very important question. So, the MELD score, like to begin with, it was studied in the past in patients undergoing TIPS and to predict their survival. And then over a period, it has been used in organ allocation more in the West than in India. Now, patients with chronic liver disease, they go through various phases. The first phase is what is called as uh, no decompensation. So they just have liver disease, but their liver still has the ability to function. Now, patients with a MELD which is less than 14, they do not require a liver transplant except for certain circumstances. These include one, the presence of liver cancer, presence of hepatocellular carcinoma on a background of cirrhosis, or if they develop other complications in the form of hepatopulmonary syndrome. um, the quality of life may be very poor. Some of the patients may have chronic low grade HE. I mean, they they can forget anything. I mean, they are fit and fine, so they start going to work, and then in the middle they don't remember where am I going. So I mean, these are the quality of life issues. So only very few of these patients with a MELD score less than 14 may require transplant, that is in the presence of hepatocellular carcinoma, hepatopulmonary syndrome, or portopulmonary syndrome, or a very poor quality of life related to chronic low grade HE.
Thank you so very much for the answer, sir. So the next question is, in this current COVID situation, can we go for a liver transplant? And if yes, then how safe it is for both patient as well as their relatives?
Correct. I mean, the answer to the question is yes. That uh, see, uh, one basic principle to understand is that if the disease process itself, the outcome of the disease or the mortality related to the disease is much higher than the transplant in the presence of COVID, you merit a liver transplant. Correct. The chances that you live long is much higher with a transplant than with avoiding a transplant because of the scare of COVID. Now, having said that, uh, uh, there are few patients where you can delay transplant, but now we know that this epidemic is not going to go away shortly. It's going to take some time, maybe a few months to a year or two, which we don't know. The vaccines are still in the phase of investigation. Herd immunity again will take time to develop. So, having said that, we are seeing more and more sick patients because they are delaying their transplant in the fear of COVID. Uh, that's not good. So, a timely transplant gives the best outcome. A structured approach to transplant COVID free pathways can give you the same results, almost the same results as they were in the pre COVID era. To tell you that in our own series of 31 patients living donor liver transplants, we have not had a single donor getting into COVID or a recipient getting into COVID. So, with a structured approach and a program, yes, a safe transplant is possible. Uh, I mean, I have seen some of the you can say post on this WhatsApp and all, where you can see that a patient comes to a doctor and he has all the diseases but not COVID, and he's so happy. So that's not the case. A rational approach is more important than being afraid of COVID.
Right, sir. Thank you so very much. So the next question is, sir, is there any new changes in the guideline for liver transplant?
Is there any new changes? So, I mean, I didn't get the question. So essentially, there can be two situations that the person is trying to ask. One is guidelines for liver transplant in the sense that who needs a liver transplant, their perioperative management. So there has been no changes in the guidelines. Then comes that how to perform these transplants safely in COVID era, and there are those guidelines. And in the state of Maharashtra, the ZTCC of Mumbai has made these guidelines, and these have been approved and adopted by DHS, the Director Health Services. These are the latest guidelines, what I talked about. There have been no new changes in these guidelines in the last couple of months.
Right. So next question is how do you look at the NGS as a method for the detection of different types of antigens, antibody in liver transplant cases? Hello.
So for Dr. Mayur.
Yes, Dr. Mayur.
Yeah. Hi. NGS is obviously the most sensitive platform for any HLA detection, but it is not available in each and every location and labs. So it depends for a solid organ transplant, like in a kidney transplant, NGS may not be the method of choice. The low resolution can help. However, in bone marrow transplant, definitely NGS is currently used because we have to be specific about the HLA alleles. I would like to take a cue from Dr. Anurag if he prefers NGS for liver transplant, because the current whatever cases we have done in the laboratory, we have done it by the low resolution testing.
See, liver transplant, liver is a very forgiving organ in terms of immunology. So humoral rejection is very, very rare in liver transplant. More so now we see, or we are still learning about late humoral rejections. So that is an area where we would use it, but mostly we use is low resolution only.
Yeah.
Correct. Liver is so forgiving that if in sensitized patient for kidney transplants, if we are not able to desensitize them, then a small piece of liver can be put in what is called as an auxiliary transplant. So along with the kidney, and that would absorb those antibodies and help this kidney avoid any rejection.
Exactly. Yeah.